Alright, right to the point. Overview. Our new, well, it's not new anymore, but relatively new 605N Select round baler. So right up here, I'm going to do a couple comparisons from our old Super M, but going from our Super M to the new N series here, a lot of similarities yet, but there's been mainly some quality of life improvements and along some other small design changes that I've noticed. But first off, the PTO though here, looks like they are using a different PTO, or at least the shielding anyways. I don't know if it's the same company yet. Pretty much the same ball joints yet, same setup yet. One of the main key differences is the shield up here is a little different. They actually have a chain up here now to prevent that from turning. And the other biggest thing here is for greasing that slide in here, that one grease zerk, they have a bunch of cutouts here now. They got 3 cutouts here. They got a bunch of cutouts here. I think there's another set underneath where my fingers are at too. I think I saw it. There it is. Ah, see, there's the matching hole, and then just gotta find the zerk then. Good thing about this too is, I don't know, they must have redid something here, but you could actually spin this backwards now. It must be part of the clutch, so now you can rotate the whole PTO, no problems now for greasing. Makes it super easy. And there's the grease zerk. There she is, right there. And it's super easy greasing that thing. The only thing that kind of sucks to grease is that one main one in here that takes like 15 to 30 shots of grease. That one you still have to disconnect the PTO to get to it. But other than that though, getting everything else though, just spins freely. The hitch, they changed the hitch a little bit. It's a different design, but same functionality. They got the short little stubby pin here that, so no hay gets hooked on it then. And of course a little plate goes over the top here with a little keeper then to prevent it from popping out then. So that's been the same old design yet, but they did kind of change the design of this a little bit. I don't know what didn't have a problem with our old baler hitch, but I don't know what the differences are, if it's more leveling it differently or something, I don't know, but something like that maybe. You got your hose holders here and your electronic connections here. Got 2 sets of hydraulics. This is for raising and lowering the picker. The thicker hoses here are for opening and closing the tailgate. Of course, monitor harness. We'll get to the monitor later. And then the lights then. Light plug there. So one change they did make is there used to be the light switch for the baler, because there's a set of lights in each door and on the net wrap. They used to have a switch here on the Super M, but now that's built into the monitor. Twine tie, still practically the same thing as a Super M. Not a big fan of this. It's slow. I know it's the same with our Super M too. Sometimes they don't grab. I know this is some slippery plastic twine, but it's sometimes it doesn't want to go sometimes right away. It's gotten a little bit better. We did some more adjustments on it, and now it seems to work a lot better. But it's still, though, it's not the best system. This baler is by no means meant for a lot of twine tying. It's just the option on here, so you have it. Like I said, we do twine tie bales time to time, either for like marking, like if we're baling mainly alfalfa and alfalfa field, but then if we have a slough or something and there's some, say, reed canary grass growing there, we'll tie that bale with string wrap, so we know, like, we can mark that bale, and that's more reed canary grass in there than alfalfa, so keep them separate then. There's much better twine tie balers out there. If you're looking for twine tie specifically, there's better balers out there. Look for somewhere else besides for this. So, but it does work. With our Super M, we didn't have hardly any trouble with it. So as long as it's reliable too, that's the biggest thing. But as long as it works, it works. So I guess that's all I can say about it. So they got the fire extinguisher mount on here. They used to be able to put the jack right here, but they removed that. I don't know where you put the jack, so we got the jack sitting right there now. Usually just sits there all year because usually the baler stays hooked up to this tractor all summer long. So, but yeah, I don't know where you're supposed to put it. I mean, I know there's something here, but I don't know though. I don't know. But yeah, we got that there though. The overall design of the baler is a little bit different. Like the Supreme, I think, was more boxy looking. This door is a little more rounded, as well as back here by the tire. Because on our old Supreme, when we'd open the door up, driving forward wasn't a problem. I see there's a little bit of dirt buildup. We got one more day of baling yet, then we're gonna be done with it for the year. But they did. I think they just pretty much shortened this arm up, and they may have redesigned the door a little bit. And I think they reinforced this here a little bit. Another piece of angle iron in there to get it away from the tire here. Driving forward with the old Supreme, you're fine, but backing up, especially if the wind would catch it, it would push this door back into the tire, where we actually bent the door one time. Could have been 2 years ago. Accidentally did that, so. But it looks like I don't know if this was here on the old Supreme at all, but it looks like, I think that's a new piece, I don't remember, but. You also have some little cutouts here now on the door that kind of fit in between the chains here. They got a poly in here now. Not as much stuff builds up in here anymore. You know, it seems like it stays a little bit cleaner, easier to clean out. But stuff still likes to get caught down here yet by that main roller chain that runs the, well, not the picker, in the bale chamber, whatever you want to call it again. That big large roller in there to get the bale spinning. You know, that runs that roller chain there. Stuff still likes to get caught in here, you know, build up, you have to clean out. So, and the other difference here, they got the bale density adjustment knob here now. This used to be underneath here all the time, but now they moved it off to the side here. No big deal, wherever they want it, I guess. It works. I guess it might tidy up things a little bit more. Give a little bit more room in here, I suppose. There's a little bit more room in here now. If you have to work in there for some reason. By getting it out over here. Oh yeah, and the quality of life improvement too. Greasing on this thing. On the Super M, the things that did not have grease lines going to them were this bearing here and the main bearing down here on that big roller that spins the bale, helps start the bale in the bale chamber. So you have to open up the tailgate to be able to grease them on both sides. But now, they revamped it now. They got grease lines running to every single bearing here. Except for this cylinder here and this zerk here. But those are like the same way on the Super M as well. They're easy to get to. But now, like I said, quality of life improvement, they got grease zerks going to every bearing. Same way on the other side too. But now the other thing is too, you know, you got to make sure your grease lines are good. Nothing's rubbed through, nothing's kinked, nothing's tore, so that you know those bearings are taking grease. But super easy greasing. I think for the most part everything else is the same design. It's pretty much the same for this side. Pretty sure the same exact picker too as the Super M. You got your twine guide adjustments in there for how far you want it going over to the edge of the bale for twine tie. That's what those are in there. Those things in there, one on either side, adjusted by a wing nut. But like I say, I think the picker is pretty much the same picker. It's a solid picker. Especially on a Super M, it works good. Quality of life improvement for the picker. On the old Super M, to adjust the picker height, you had to loosen these bolts or these nuts for each wheel and set them where you think you wanted them. But now they did away with that. Now it's just a pin system now. Super easy to adjust. Flotation tires, I think they're pretty much standard now. I'm not sure if you can get the smaller tires or not. I'm not sure, but I think these are pretty much standard now. Tailgate hydraulic lock. Just a big lever here. Same thing as a Super M here for releasing belt tension. Open the tailgate all the way. This thing rotates in to a roller. There's a kind of a roller in here that moves with the belts. That will stop that roller from going down anymore. And as you close the tailgate more and more and more, the belts get looser and looser and looser and looser. So a very straightforward thing. Net wrap. think it's pretty much the same thing yet. Same setup yet. I mentioned on the Super M too that I wish they would have a net load switch back here to retract this arm up. Everything's controlled from the monitor of the cab. I wish they would have a switch back here because some days we have terrible winds out here and it's really difficult for one person sometimes to change it, to keep the net wrap in without the wind whipping it out of there. So, but it is doable with one person. You just have to pull a bunch of net wrap through and kind of, you know, makes you have plenty through then, and that it stays enough over on these rollers and this kind of spiral roller here. As long as it's over here, it'll straighten itself out then once you tie the first bale. But I kind of wish, you know, there'd be a switch out here instead of for loading net wrap. I think it'd make way more sense. But like I say, everything's tied in with the monitor, so it would just be a little quality of life improvement to have a switch back here instead for loading net wrap. I don't know if they could just use something on the actuator itself here, a switch, manual override switch or something like that. That'd be awesome. But anyways, though, the net wrap's the same net wrap guides down here, same everything, same bale ramp, same way. Yeah, it's pretty much the same system back here for the most part. There might be, you know, maybe a couple design changes, part updates, maybes. You know, I wouldn't be surprised, but you know, that's but pretty much system though, design-wise, it's pretty much very similar, or if not the same as the Super M. This one has 3 density sensors on here, left, right, center. Sometimes not all the balers come with a center one, but it's just an option though. This side is a little bit different because the select balers here, this is the biggest difference on these balers that have the select option, because you can select when you want the picker to run. This is the biggest thing right here, is the clutch right here for kicking out the picker, controlled by a little actuator here, solenoid. Really like it. Really like it. I know before we bought the baler, talked to some people who had it. They said they loved it. Pretty much when the full buzzer goes off, it takes probably a couple seconds. Once it starts tying, picker disengages, and then after you dump the bale, and once the tailgate closes, then it kicks back in, then the picker. So it, you know, maybe it could kick out a little bit sooner, you know, for timing, but it's nice. So net wrap, you know, you don't get any net wrap caught in there. We haven't gotten any net wrap caught in there at all, or even nothing's been caught inside the picker yet. It stayed clean so far. So you know, say, you know, it takes, I don't know, 8 seconds to tie net wrap, and then, you know, dumping everything, you know, so you save several seconds there not having the picker run. Same with twine tying. Twine tying takes, you know, a half a minute or so, and you know, that's that much less time the picker's running for those chains, the bearings, cams, everything on there. Or if you're parked on a mound, a dirt mound or something like that, you know, it's not digging into the dirt mound. It's a lot less moving parts. And it's also nice for diagnosing stuff too, because you can manually kick it out too. Like if you're hearing a funny noise in the baler, you can kick it out manually to kind of pinpoint it more, having, you know, that whole picker system off. So maybe diagnosing stuff, or oiling your chains, your picker chains. You can disengage your picker chains, or your picker once you get your chains oiled. You know, stuff like that, just quality of life. But I know after a while, I don't know how many bales we can go before we have to maybe rebuild components in the clutch, but when we get to that point, we'll get to that point. So, but yeah, that's the biggest thing, is the kick out clutch here. Really like it so far. Really do like it. But it kind of also, I think I kind of changed the setup in here a little bit too. Like on our old Super M, there wasn't a greasable bearing here at all. Like this bearing needs grease right here. But I think it's a little bit different here though because of that clutch, so it does affect the design here then. So that's one of the things, that's the biggest change from our Super M. But other than that though, I think the side is pretty much the same, except of course quality of life improvement. All bearings are greasable from here, as well as these 2 grease points here. And then the ECU is now on right here on the baler, because I think it used to all be in the monitor, I believe, on the old Super M, but now they got them separate now, where they got an ECU here, and then the monitor and the tractor, then they're two separate systems. Yeah, I guess we'll go and look at the monitor real quick. This thing is, touchscreen. It's also got manual knobs as well for navigating the screen here. Power buttons on top, USB ports on bottom here. Turn it on. So, this is wired because of the cable on this thing, the harness. It's directly connected to the battery. It's actually, and it's also the connector to the baler as well. As you can see, the connector's right there, but it pretty much, the cable splits right here into two cables. One goes directly to the battery. The other cable comes into the cab then. Oh yeah, it's fine. Oh, come on, Cam. This is interesting. I can't go dead on, can I? Can I? Come on. Phone, come on. There we go. Yeah, tailgate open. Hydraulics settled, so that's what the error code is. But this is pretty much the main home screen that you would see on this thing. The monitor itself is very simple. It didn't take me that long to figure everything out. Everything's documented in the owner's manual, what everything does. It's fairly straightforward. I mean, put it this way, my dad isn't much for electronic stuff, but he figured this out fairly quickly though. So it's a very simple monitor. So that's your main home screen. This screen is for setting up your bales, what your full bale size is, number of net wraps for a net wrap. You can also select, this baler has both twine and net, so you can go switch between twine and net. The next screen here is, you can have multiple customers in here, like saying you're doing custom work or you're doing your own. I guess right now, the way we have it set up right now, we just have it just like, our certain types of bales that we usually bale. That's pretty much what these two screens are. This is for setting up your customers, and each customer you set up each field then, either or. And this one here is the field stats. I pretty much access that through the same button here. So there's a lot of, in this monitor, there's a lot of places you can get to through shortcuts. You don't have to go through the tabs here. There's a lot of places for shortcuts to get directly to the screen you want to go to. So yeah. Oh yeah, and here's the home screen here. See that info boxes? The info boxes here. That's right here as well. You can select, what you want depending on the options the baler has. You can have it show which four you want to show. You can also access that, like I said, talk about shortcuts. On your home screen here, shortcuts, press this, brings you up to that setup. You can set it how you want it. Same with bale size. Just touch that there, it goes to your bale setup screen. Bale density calibration, you just touch this, it takes you to the calibration screen then. Net or twine, just touch the little symbol here. It brings you to the bale setup screen where you can select net wrap or twine. And this will, since it's got an error on here, you press the fault code, it'll bring that open then. So like I said, tailgate open. And there's some other error codes. Yeah, Dad slugged the picker on here. That's what that wrap is, where he was baling some sloughs back, I guess, yeah, it was late August, I guess. So yeah, he said he slugged the picker, so that's what that is. He ran out of twine, so that's what that is. And net not feeding, that's when you run out of net wrap. So field stats, like these two screens, you don't even have to use these two. You really don't have to use them much if you don't have to. It's completely optional, but to reset your bale counter though, you got to be in the field stats here. Reset to 0 then. So this screen is advanced menu, where you have access to your calibrations and your bale shape, bale density bars. Tells you exactly what to do, as also tells you in the owner's manual as well how to do it. Very straightforward. Bale size, measuring, make sure what it's reading on the monitor here is what the bale size actually is in the chamber. So this is for, adjusting that. Moisture offset, same thing. You know, calibrating that, make sure the moisture sensor shows, make sure it's showing true. Diagnostics, that's kind of where the fault codes are at. Error history's right here, same thing. And then I think it's just for monitoring kind of voltages and whatnot. And advanced Baler, so what's this one? Oh yeah, this stuff. Yeah, here you can customize, you know, a few things. Near full alert, that just the monitor gives you an alert when you're getting close to a full bale. Bale shape. Yeah, see, this is the option it has the shape sensing on there. It has the center density bar on there, so that's got those options in. Bale shape. Oh no, that was just there. Tie systems. This is for fine tuning net wrap and twine a little bit. I think it's kind of how the actuator arms run. If you have to speed them up or slow them down. Same way with twine. See, to get access to the twine, you actually have to be selected on twine. It'll bring up that then. Oops, not administration. Tie systems. There now the twine is up now. So to fine tune the net wrap, you have to be selected. Net wrap has to be selected. For twine has to be selected. So I'm gonna put it back to net wrap again. Boop. Boop. There, now net wrap's back again. Auto lube, this doesn't have it, so we don't use it. It's off. Options, it's got the moisture sensor. We don't have the weight sensing on here. That's off. It's got the pickup clutch option, because it's the select version, so it's got the pickup clutch, and it's got the maintenance lights on there then. So yeah, that's the advanced Baler stuff. There is another advanced screen too that you can only access by pressing this button here. You press this, it brings up a special, oh boy, it doesn't want to show there. It brings up a different screen then where you can just monitor specific to the monitor. You know, you got your brightness, your volume of the buzzer. This is just time. Yeah, just that. Like, there's just, yeah, just some stuff there. So, but, and then just to get out of the screen, then just have to press this button again, take you back to your home screen again. Then, so on the home screen though, this is just for starting the tie the bale. You can manually start the tying process. You can pause it and it will not tie unless you get an overfill, then it will automatically start tying. This is for loading your net wrap. It opens the actuator arm so you can feed net wrap into the baler. And then this is the lights, the maintenance lights on the baler. So I wish this switch was still on the baler itself, because you have to come in here to turn them on. You know, it's kind of annoying. And also talk about the net wrap load. I wish there was a button or switch by the net wrap instead of having to come in here and press it. As I mentioned before, on windy days, it kind of sucks. The wind kind of, it's easier with two people. So also you got to really pull through a bunch of net wrap through just to, you know, make sure it stays where it's supposed to. You got to kind of cut it off and tidy it up then. But here's that's what that is. The manual thing here, exactly what it sounds. You can engage and disengage the picker manually. So like you say, for example, oiling chains, you can oil your picker chains, and once you get them oiled, you can come in here, press stop, it will kick it out then your picker won't run then. And it's also useful for diagnosing problems too. If you're hearing a funny noise outside, you know, disengage the picker once, see if you still hear it outside then, you know, and then, you know, just re-engage it then. Easy peasy. This is for manually controlling the actuator arm for both the net wrap and the twine tie manually. You can control it with these buttons here. Just by pressing and holding the buttons will force everything to move. So if you're trying to diagnose something or something like that, you know, you can manually tie it yourself from the cab here. So yes, that's what the manual button's for, and that's about it for this thing. Like I say, there's some other fine-tuning things here you can do too. Like I say, it's all documented in the book, but overall, though, the monitor, it's fairly straightforward, I think. Pretty easy. I will say this versus our old Super M, the density bars, I think these are a little slower to react versus the old Super M monitor. Me and Dad both agree with that, this being a little bit slower reacting for density. So I want to see the baler totals on here now. There's the total bales we have it on this baler right now. Total hours and overfills. No overfills yet, so we used our old Super M a lot this year before we sold it, so now we got this baler on, and now we're getting some bales on here now, so that's why I haven't really been using the fields too much this year, is because, well, going from our Super M back, we're still just doing paper this year, so doing it on paper, because, well, it's it's you know, going between two different balers. So oh yeah, this sensor we had to adjust here because the tailgate, we were going down the field, you hit a little bump, buzzer go off saying the tailgate was open, then it'd go away then. But you know, just adjusting this right here, making it closer to the sensor so it doesn't throw that code then that's saying, hey, the tailgate's open when it's actually not. So there's a little adjustment there. There's another thing to keep an eye on too, the same way with our Super M as well, is with the bale ramp here. I forget what it was. I think it has to be open unless they change that. But on our old Super M, like, you know, with the bale ramp, if something would get stuck here, debris built up, like the valve wouldn't switch properly here, not causing the, I forget what would happen again. The bale ramp wouldn't come up or something like that, or the bale ramp would come up, but it wouldn't press the valve in far enough where, you know, the tailgate wouldn't want to close then. Just got to keep that clean, you know, and you won't have a problem. But yeah, it's pretty much a Super M baler with quality of life changes to it. New monitor, ECU controller, and of course select option on here for the picker. Yeah, you know, it's very early on this baler, you know, whatever the monitor show it again for bale count again on it, so it's worked good so far. Like I say, we've had to do some calibrations, adjustments. That's from breaking it in, so it's just like, well, that's just normal, you know, getting everything, you know, calibrating everything just the way it is, like anything. Usually like that at the start of the year too, as it sits over the winter, so, you know, it's making sure everything's in line yet. But that's about all I can say on it for now. We'll see how good it holds up, but seeing how similar it is to the Super M, though, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a pretty good baler. But I guess with us as Vermeers too, you know, the biggest thing we keep coming back to is customer support. I think out of all the brands we've ever dealt with, they're probably the best customer support out there, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm not loyal to too many brands, but this is one of the brands I would bleed. The other, I'd say Rouse would be another brand I'd be loyal to, and probably McDon too. I'd be loyal to them too, I suppose. You know, out of all the brands we have, those probably would be the ones. But this one for sure, though, Vermeer, I am loyal to. So I'm gonna say that right now. That's what I say when we were looking at new balers. I said it will be a Vermeer baler. I had zero doubts. 110% was going to be a Vermeer baler. There's just nothing else about it. So it's like Vermeers just look the simplest. When you have the doors open, they just look simple. You see the bearings, just everything's there. You know, we've changed bearings on our Super M too. Nothing to it really. Changed the laces on them on our Super M. Nothing to it really. I don't know. You know, I guess as far as what we've had to work on from our Super M, well, this one we'll find out too, but if something goes wrong. But, you know, they've always been really easy to work on, I guess, as far as I'm concerned. So, but anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And yeah, any questions on the baler, try to answer them. But like I said, I'm not giving a permanent, definite answer on, you know, whether this would be a good buy or not, because, well, I don't have enough bales. Don't have enough bales through it yet. But I guess coming from the old Super M, I'd say the Super M series is pretty good baler series. So, and seeing what this thing looks like, I'm just going to assume that it's probably going to be a pretty good baler too, and seeing what other people say out there too. they say they like their end balers too, so I'm just going to assume at this point that it's probably going to be a good baler. But if not, if it's a lemon, I'm not worried. Not worried at all, so. But anyways, thanks for watching, and yeah. Talk to y'all later.